All right, hello everyone. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful Thursday evening, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, whatever time it may be. Welcome. This will probably be a smaller stream today. We're just here to hang out and maybe do a little bit of tarot and just chat. So, yeah, looks like we had a fun person join, and Casey looks like she took care of that. So thank you. But let's give a nice hello to everyone who's in the chat. Send some love to Casey, one of our wonderful moderators. Hey Mel, hey Ashley, hey Huzzlefudge, hey Francesca, hey Ryan. Hey Sam. Oh geez. Hey Sammy. Hey William. Welcome. Yeah. Well, hey Thea. Looks like we got some of the usual crowd showing up. So yeah. I didn't really have anything planned for today's stream other than, just doing a little bit of tarot. We had I would say less than successful game selections last week. Nothing like bad, but I feel like boring and strange, and yeah. Hey Stephanie, hey Freya. Yeah, so, we figured a couple of you suggested we just kind of have a chill stream. Oh, thanks, Ashley. Hey, Zombie Helper. Hey, Rel. I don't think I've seen you before. Welcome. All right. All right. Let's see. Looks like Amani, you have a question. Sure, you can say your question, but it depends on what it is in terms of how I and the chat will react. But I don't know if you're talking about a question for tarot or something like that. But let's see. My chat is not updating on my screen. Of course it's not. There we go. Got a tarot deck that years ago, but pre-ordering the game Dishonored, never opened it. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so I got a new tarot deck, I don't know, a couple weeks ago now, and it's pretty cool. It's stylized off of a lot of different Japanese yokai, different spirits and entities in Japanese culture and folklore. Very, very interesting. And the booklet with it tells us a little bit about the different yokai in the cards. We got a question. Can we just take a second to talk about this deep blue ombre? Oh, thanks, Stephanie. Yes, shout out to Stephanie Lynette, who's another wonderful YouTuber. Check her out if you haven't already. Starting tea on Trans Day, remember. That's awesome, Rel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not sure if it's pronounced differently because of the accent over the E. Does my ex-boyfriend gone back to me, and if he will, when? Sam just woke up. Oh, I hope you're okay, Sam. Well, tarot doesn't predict the future, so that's not necessarily something. Hey, giant robots conquer the world. Not necessarily something the tarot can tell us, but we can see how things are gonna go. We can kind of ask a question in terms of like, are you going to be back in each other's lives at any point in any capacity or something like that? And we have the Knight of Cups, little Cute little ghost. Kind of alone. And you gotta bear with me. Hey, Rachel. Yeah. Still a novice at this tarot thing. Feel like don't always have as much time as I would like amidst grad school and life and everything to learn this as much as I'd like. But if we're thinking of the Knight of Cups, and this was for Amani, if you're still here, the Knight of Cups, if we're thinking about relationships, you know, this can tell us to, I mean, the Knight of Cups typically means things like idealism, dreaminess, artistic, sensitive. It's about romance. You know, kind of the key meaning is about a proposal here, something. So it could be rekindling of a established relationship. It could be a new love interest. But it's about really just being open to emotions, open to connecting with others. So, I mean, the Knight of Cups tells us that, I mean, we don't necessarily know if it's going to be the person you're thinking of, but it's telling you to just be open to receiving love, and, you know, current relationships will either get stronger or somebody new will come into your life. So, I mean, I interpret this as like there is love in your near future. It may or may not be with your boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, but hopefully it will be. I mean, we don't know for sure. What is this deck called? You know, that is a great question. Yeah. Yeah, here's a Yokai Yochi tarot deck. It was through a Kickstarter that I helped, you know, that I contributed to, I don't know, back in April, and it just came, I think, like end of October. Hey, Natty. Let's see, is there anybody else who popped up? And hey, anyone who might be watching. Hey, if there's anyone that I missed, to say hi. Can't wait for the day we can collaborate in person. Yes, that would be awesome. I'd love that, Stephanie. And we still need to catch up and find a time. I know it's been a mess, us trying to schedule a time. You've helped me understanding myself, and I think I'm kind of know I'm not cis now. That's awesome that I've been able to help. Is that Kato? Yeah, I mean, it can be a scary thing to kind of discover these things at the beginning of your journey, but I'm glad I can help in any way I can. And I did see your question, Natty. Any advice for hair removal on your face? Yeah, it's been a few years since I did hair removal. I know some people do sorts of numbing creams beforehand. You'd want to talk to whoever's doing your laser to see what they recommend, because certain things could make it worse, but there are some things some people use to help numb the area. I never did that. Probably should have. But I would say, you know, don't be afraid to let your laser person know if, you know, you're in too much pain to do the whole section of your face, whatever you may be doing in one set, just one go. Don't be afraid to let them know, and you can pick it up later if you want to. That would probably be my only advice, is just like numbing cream. It's gonna hurt, but if it's on your face, it's probably gonna be quick if it's laser hair removal. You know, I know like the upper lip was probably one of, if not the most sensitive areas for laser. It's very painful, but it's very quick because there's only you know, so much area to cover. So, I mean, numbing cream, you know, make sure your laser person's creating a safe space, your aesthetician or whatever they are called. And, you know, if it is painful, it'll probably be over fairly quickly if they're just doing parts of your face. Upper lip is painful, but worth it. Couldn't agree more. Upper lip is spicy. I feel like that's a nice way of putting it. I love that. Keep this a friendly, safe space, bad enough the truth. All right. Well, does anybody have any fun tarot questions? Anything? Typically, you ask the deck a question, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't predict the future, but it kind of helps provide insight and guidance. I see the tarot as helping provide insight into questions that you've been thinking about. You may have the answers floating around, and it can kind of help you find the answer. Kind of helps you find the answers that are already within that maybe, among other things, too scared to acknowledge. What about how to deal with family? When will BP rich? Hey, Trucy. Give some love to another one of our moderators, Trucy. Yeah, sorry, Sam. I'm not gonna help you scam people at work. But how to deal with people over the holidays. So let's see. Maybe we can do something. Do a sort of 3-card spread that could help us. And I feel like that would probably be a helpful question for a lot of us. Might even be a helpful question for myself. But if we're thinking, this could be something about relationships, the future. Okay. How to deal with family. Okay. Okay. So we can do like a 3-card spread for the future, and it's about what we aspire to, what's standing in our way, and how you can overcome this. Like, what do we want to happen? What might be getting in the way of that? And what can we do to overcome that when we're thinking about relationships with family? So, feel free to repeat your questions, because I'm probably going to miss. I see Ashley and Sam, I think, have questions. But what we aspire to, we have the Knight of Swords. Very, very intense card. Swords are about energy, passion, kind of just running into things with like full force, heart behind it. And we can kind of see that with this little skeleton guy. So the Knight of Swords tells us that, yeah, I gotta figure out where you are in the book. Yeah, the Knight of Swords, this says it's about expecting the unexpected. The Knight of Swords is determined and driven, strong sense of self. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Downside, relationships. So I feel like when we're thinking about talking to our family, it may be kind of a very relevant card. It's telling us to expect the unexpected, which I think can be very true for those of us that are trans. Those of us that are trans or non-binary. A lot of us, unfortunately, have a strained relationship with one or more family members. But this is kind of telling us to expect the unexpected, tap into the energy of this nice skeleton. It can kind of help you brace for the worst. And maybe it'll be better than expected. But let's see what else this reading has to tell us. What could be getting in our way of being able to feel prepared for what might come our way? Because I like to think that us trans people are very resilient and we can handle a lot due to all the things we go through to be ourselves, regardless of where you are in your transition. Our next card is the 3 of Cups. Interesting. Family can get in the way of family. So we have the 3 of Cups. These look like little lanterns. So the 3 of Cups. This came up reversed. So this can tell us In established relationships, there may be distance, lack of cohesion and understanding. Someone close may be overly opinionated and egotistical. Dynamics may become skewed. Okay. So normally when the Three of Cups is upright, it's about like celebration and happiness, abundance in family and friendship relationships. You know, they're kind of fun. They're having like a little party. Some of these cards in this deck don't always quite match the traditional tarot meanings, but I see this as an obstacle of, you know, being able to expect the unexpected and be resilient. I think it makes sense that there could be people in our family that are going to be obstinate, that are not going to be understanding, that are not going to support us. So what can we do to help with that? We have the King of Swords. We got more swords. Looks like a fox, perhaps? What does the manual say? Cups? Or they're called staves in this deck. But swords. Considered a chief, it likes to enter people's homes and drink their tea and smoke as if it owned the place, and then simply leave when done. Okay. Fun. So we have the King of Swords. So we got two swords on the edges of our meanings. And the King of Swords is an ambitious intellectual. Relies on logic to help them win. Open to ideas. Okay. Somebody who is calm, makes good judgments. Somebody who's able to take charge. Is telling us to focus on our mind, maybe rather a little more than our emotions. Especially if you're going through an intense time in relationships or other areas of your life. And it could tell us in relationships it's time to take the initiative. I feel like that fits pretty well too. I see this as like we may have people who are not being so nice, who are not so understanding, that are creating tension in our relationships with our family. This guy is telling us to keep calm, not let our emotions take too much control. Don't repress your emotions, because that's never good either. But it's kind of telling us to take a step back, exude a sense of calm, realize that these people, if they're not being supportive, it says a whole lot more about them than it does for you. And it's about taking charge and setting boundaries for what you need to get if going home is going to be a stressful time. Because I feel like going home to family is stressful for so many people when it shouldn't be. He looks chill. Okay. Resilient understatement. Hey, Maya. Hey, Blue. I don't know if I said hey to you yet. That's our reading. So what do y'all think of the cards so far? I think they're really cool. Mr. Samurai Foxman. Can I ask if I can help a very special person in my life? And if the path I'm going on right now will be a good one? The path. Okay. Kato, so you're asking, there's somebody that's important to you that you want to help, and you want to know if what you're doing is going to be helpful for them, or what you're planning on doing. Is that correct? Is there any more details that you're willing to share? And if not, we can keep the reading like kind of broad and general. But that's kind of what I see, that you are caring for somebody and you want to make sure that what you're doing is, the intention is to help, but you want to see if the outcome is going to be helpful. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, I have a whole list of different spreads in this book. So I'm trying to see what might be good for that. What you can change, what you can't change. Okay. Yeah. So what you're going to do, is that going to be helpful? Okay. You could try a variation on a 3-card spread where the first card is what you want from the relationship, the second card is what they want from the relationship, and the third card can kind of tell us where this is heading. It can kind of tell us, based on what each of you want and what each of you are putting in, where might the relationship be heading if things stay the same. Now that is a creature. We have the 5 of Pentacles, or I think in this deck they're simply called coins. If we remember, the Pentacles are about the material world. I'm just being a brat. Casey's never a brat. Hey, Eva. 5 of Pentacles. Okay. Okay. All right, I think we're back. I hope we're back. I hope we're back. I looked over and it looked like it was a bit frozen. So you're probably going to now see me troubleshooting, or you will have seen me troubleshooting by the time you see that. So hopefully we're back. It looks like it's good on my end. Stay with us. The card has apparently locked you into a time loop. That's fitting because the game I just started playing is Deathloop, all about time loops. Really fun. I know somebody mentioned Dishonored earlier. It's by the same people who made that game. But anyways, oh, the 3 of Swords. The Pain of Truth. Cloud of Doubt. Okay. This is... Sorry, this is not a happy reading, Kato. Hey, Jenna. I want Deathloop. Yeah, I was able to snag it. Well, it was super cheap for like a day at GameStop. And this is okay. So the 3 of Swords. This is a common card for struggles in relationships. On a positive note, this allows you to clear any doubt. You can get to the heart of the matter, but there's nothing you can do but face reality and begin the healing process and move forward. Okay. So, you know, kind of the broad meanings of the 3 of Swords are sorrow, heartbreak, and pain. Like the more traditional version of the card literally has 3 swords going through a heart. So, you know, this could be telling us there's pain, there's upheaval, there's something in the relationship that I think this last card will help put us all together and give us some clarity. We have the moon, a little bunny who collects stuff on the moon. I think that was what this yokai was. Little bunny, I'd like to ask. Okay. Minor Arcana. Trying to look at this book while showing the bunny at the same time, and I feel like it's unsuccessful. The moon. The rabbit that lives on the moon, pounding away to make mochi. That's cute. So the moon. This is our first major arcana card of the night. Major arcana are kind of the more powerful forces and motifs in our lives. We can kind of liken these to the word is escaping me, but yeah, like powerful symbols that kind of guide certain parts of our lives. There's a word for it that I'm really struggling. So the traditional meaning of the moon is a crisis of faith, a period of emotional vulnerability. Reveals misgivings about a situation as you cannot be sure if what you're seeing is the truth. This may be a time of deep emotional conflict and the struggle is private rather than shared. You have a decision to make, and to choose wisely, you need to rely on your senses rather than your logic. Rely on your intuition. Let's see what messages that your gut is telling you. I apologize if you can hear Tipsy digging in the litter box as I say this. So, okay, Kato. Well, if we put all this together, hopefully you're still there. We have the Five of Pentacles, the Three of Swords, and the Moon. If we're thinking about the relationship, you know, there's a strain on potentially like the emotional resources or material resources. We have emotional distress and turmoil and upheaval, but through that may come some clarity. Repeat what the first card said. Yeah, the first card is very broadly, the Five of Pentacles relates to emotional distress when it comes to material resources, which can include like emotional connection. And the Three of Hearts, pain, truth. It can give us like, where the Three of Hearts allows us to see clearly see the truth in a situation, but it's usually a painful process. And the Moon is telling us to tap into our intuition because we may be confused or unsure about what decision to make at a given time, which I think that feels like the most meaningful card in the reading, and this relates to kind of the path ahead or the choice to make, is that there is probably not a perfect answer, and there's emotional distress in the relationship regardless, but the best outcome will come if you really go with your intuition and go with your gut. I know that's very vague, but hopefully there's something you can draw from that. Arcana check. I don't know if y'all could see, the sides of the cards also are like a shiny goldish color, and they're printed on rice paper, so they have a really nice texture. So let's see, I think if we think of questions, I saw Sam, Maya, and I think there was somebody else who also had a question. What is the name of this deck? Let me see if I can type it into the chat. I think, just so. Yeah, I think that's the name of the tarot deck. I'm not sure if the person who made it is selling anymore outside of the Kickstarter, but worth looking into. I would like to ask something. Okay. So we'll do Sam. Then we'll do Maya. I'd like to ask this, there's something I need to heal, work on to be more confident. I think this will help. Thank you so much. I'm so glad it was helpful, Kato. Sometimes the tarot just gives us lots to think about. Is there something I need to heal, work on to be more confident presenting as a woman? Okay, so confidence. I think tarot spreads for self-discovery. This might be the best. Okay. Your potential. Or maybe. Okay. We could do a simple where you stand now, what you aspire to, and how to get there. A lot of the a lot of the 3-card spreads are kind of variations on that theme, like what do you want, what's in the way, or what are you trying to work towards, and how can we get that? So we can try that. It's like where you currently stand. We have the Five of Cups. Looks like a sort of mermaid creature. So let's see what we have here. The Five of Cups. Cups usually relate to a lot of emotion. Where you currently stand. So I'm kind of seeing this as like, this is maybe where you currently are in terms of a place of struggling with confidence. And the Five of Cups is about Feeling ups is the card of upset and loss. Shows sadness and confusion, maybe disappointment. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. The gift of this 5 is there's no mistaking what has happened because you feel it in every bone of your body. But all is not lost. You'll be able to move onward and upward. 2 remaining cups on the cards can show support. Okay. Yeah, so the traditional card has like 3 cups that are tilted over that kind of represent things like being upset, disappointment, and loss. And there's 2 cups that are turned upward that kind of represent strengths that are still there in your life to help you, like supportive people. So, you know, I could interpret this as, you know, there could be a feeling of loss, a feeling of difficulty, struggling in your transition. Yeah, I'm not sure how far you are into your transition or how long it's been since you came out, but, you know, one thing that comes to mind is that there could be some struggles, some feelings of loss, or just some feelings of, you know, feeling in a difficult or confusing place, you know, now that you are in the world as a different gender. And that is what's coming to mind for me. And that may or may not fit, but that's the first thing that's coming to mind. It's kind of the difficulty of getting acclimated to being yourself, maybe for the first time out in the world. Oh, we have another cups card. If you're here, who's cooking and cleaning? Hey, Yuri. So we have the 4 of cups. A little creature with 1 giant eyeball. So, what you aspire to. What you aspire to. So where you stand now. So maybe you're standing now in a place of loss or confusion. What you aspire to. The 4 of Cups comes if you have been hurt in the past. Protect yourself. Okay. Agree. Okay. Okay. One of the big things that the 4 of Cups tells us is that it may feel risky and scary, but it's time to be emotionally open and emotionally vulnerable. And, you know, this is kind of a thing that you need to heal and feel complete and whole. Yes, it is on tonight, Casey. Why does this stream burn out the people? We're just, well, I don't know. It doesn't really matter what the content of the stream is for some people, I feel like. Hey, Max. So, you know, I see this, what you aspire to is to be able to feel open and free and be able to feel like you can be vulnerable, be open, be transparent, kind of just be yourself in the world and be yourself around others. And the 4 of Cups is telling us that that is not an easy thing, unsurprisingly, but it is something that it's time for that because it will be beneficial despite the difficulties. And the last part of the card, we have another cup. We have the King of Cups. So this is, we got a lot of cups in this hand. All cups. The cups really relate to emotion very broadly. So, King of Cups, a charismatic person, or somebody with a lot of strength and power, like this giant squid, giant octopus, whatever this may be. Hey, Kate. Yeah, so this is somebody sensitive, sociable, okay, warm-hearted, charismatic, somebody who follows their intuition, somebody who's empathetic, but also, you know, has a controlled balance with their emotions. able to process intense emotions. Okay. Well, very broadly, if this is you in the reading, if we conceptualize not the squid, not the octopus, but the King of Cups as a concept represents you. It's really broadly about following your heart, following your intuition. I feel like that's a theme across a lot of tarot cards. And I feel like, so this is telling me, you're in a place of feeling lost, confused, where maybe something that you aspire to is to be able to be more emotionally open. And the last card, how to get there, is kind of tapping into the strength and intuition that you have within you. I think it's about trusting yourself that you know yourself better than anyone else on this earth, and trusting yourself and tapping into like all the wonderful things that make you you. And this can allow you to get the strength to really show up more in your life, and people will gravitate towards that. It's about looking for the answers in your heart and following that. Lots of cups. Lots of cups. Hopefully. I don't know if Sam is still here, but it is on the recording for the future if not. How are we supposed to espionage without a mole? Hey, Zoe. Right on. I'm very understandable. Well, I just want to say to the not feeling trans enough, there is no one way to look trans, to be trans. It's about just finding who you authentically are in relation to your gender, and that can look an infinite number of ways. And I think it's just about finding what fits for you and not trying to fit into what you think trans is supposed to be, because there's no one way for it to be. Glad you're still here. Better be good. I'm here, but at a B-Day party. Well, that sounds fun. I like you're always doing fun stuff, Zoe. How can we discuss subatomic particles? I'm assuming that is not a question for the deck. So what other questions do we have? I know Maya had a question. I'm not sure if she is still here. But if anybody else has questions to ask the deck. And I do also have the other deck that I got through Kickstarter a few months back. So if anybody has a preference on deck. And this one is a little darker. Maybe a little more, well, I was going to say more abstract, but I think they're both abstract in their own ways. Okay, you're here. Can you remind me of what your question was, Maya? Because I believe I saw you put one in, like, probably 20 minutes. What kind of question should I ask? Really anything. I don't know if you're in here or if you're familiar with tarot, but I don't know, the way I approach tarot is it's about, the cards provide us with insight into, questions we have, struggles we have. So it's basically asking questions that can bring clarity to one or more aspects of our life, whether it's like, what can I do to help overcome a struggle in a particular relationship? Or what can I do to cope with stress in school or work? Or what do I need in my life right now? Like that can even be a very broad question if you don't know what to ask. You can kind of let the deck see like, what sort of energy do you need to channel in your life right now to keep moving forward? Starting a job hunt, what can I focus on? Okay. I'm not sure specifically what to ask, but my life has been really turbulent, so I'd just like to know what I need to get through it. And what is missing that might help? Okay. So, okay. And we'll get to Casey, or Sammy next. And thank you for keeping track, Casey. Life is turbulent. Not sure what I need to do. What might I be missing? Okay. I kind of see life is a stressful struggle. Okay, what do you need to do? What might you be missing? Okay, we can do another spread. I'm thinking a 3-card spread here where the first card is the context of your situation. Second card is where you need to focus. And the third card is the outcome. And like I said, the tarot does not predict the future per se. You have ultimate control and agency. So, the tarot just tells us a possible outcome, if we behave and act in certain ways. But it's not telling us that this is set in stone. The context of the situation. We have another major arcana. We're not getting too many of these tonight. We have the Judgment card, and we have a literal judge on the card. Chloe, thank you for making a video, Trans Day of Remembrance. Yeah, you're welcome. It was definitely emotionally taxing to put that together, but I feel like it's important, and I know those videos don't usually get nearly as many views, and that's okay. I understand why, but I feel like it's important to, spread awareness. But I understand why people may not watch it, because it is a lot. Another Arcana check. So our first card, the context of the situation. Okay. Judgment tells us a variety of things, but tells us it's time to make a decision about the past. Great change and opportunity are on the horizon. But before we can decide on a direction to take, we need to address existing or past issues. Okay. Shows how you will feel you've acted. Okay. Okay. Judgment also predicts a spiritual awakening as you feel called to explore your potential. Okay. Context of the situation. Well, I see that as, there's stressors bubbling up in the past. You may be trying to move towards a particular goal, but there's stressors bubbling up from the past that are kind of interfering with you being present, with you being able to move forward in the way you want to. How old is your cat? Tipsy, specifically relating to moving towards surgery and the fears and joys around that. Okay. Okay. So if we put that into context, and my cat is 8.5. So if we put this into context of, turbulence and surgery specifically and some kind of fears about that, I see the context of the situation relates to, there's maybe stressors from past experiences or that have kind of just led you to where you are today that are making kind of that decision of moving towards surgery difficult. And there are some things related to that you need clarity on to kind of decide where you want to move forward with that and to be able to accept the joys of that despite the possible fears. That is interesting. We have the 8 of staves, or the 8 of wands. And I know I said earlier that in this deck the swords are staves. That's incorrect. The wands are staves. But we have the 8 of staves, or the 8 of wands, in the traditional tarot deck. So this kind of tells us, what is this? Where you need to focus. Oh, well, good news. The 8 of Wands is one of the most positive cards. Brings lots of communication. If you have felt back, you soon will have positive news. All your projects grow. Just be prepared for a fast, frantic shift. It will energize you, but you'll need to prioritize what is coming. Don't feel you have to say yes to everything. Choose wisely. Okay. So really, this is about positive news coming into your life, but it may be a lot to handle. And, you know, one thing that comes to mind, if we're thinking about surgery, I mean, one thing that could come to mind, positive news, is being able to schedule that surgery. I'm not sure where you are in that process. But, you know, this may be rapidly approaching, and it may be hard to make a decision based on that. It may be energizing in a positive way, but also stressful. Okay. Yeah. This is a little more abstract. Let's see if we can put all this together. The outcome. Another wands. These look like little will-o'-the-wisps. Probably not what they're called. We have the 7 of wands. 7 of staves. Let me see what we have in the deck. Just curious as to what this represents. Not the swords, not the coins. Staves. 7. Spirits that appear deep in forests have bobbing orbs of white fire. Sometimes faces appear. 7 of staves. The outcome. 7 of wands reveals obstacles, but you will keep going to overcome them. Successes in reach. No matter how difficult things become, you will be able to stay strong until you are satisfied with your outcome by being very clear on your position. Often comes up to show you defending your own interests and maybe even abdicating for others' interests. What it lies ahead is not easy, but you will be strong and you will be able to persist and fight through it and be able to get what you want and deserve at the end. So it's about having the courage to be able and the ability to put in the effort to get what you want and deserve in life. So we're thinking about surgeries. If we're thinking about these 2 cards, you know, I see this as probably being one of the big barriers right now, as there's some unresolved stressors from your past, and I'm not sure what this may be in context of what you may be struggling with. There may be some, you know, uncertainty about whether to move forward with surgery, or, you know, who to move forward with in terms of surgeon, or, you know, the type of surgery that you want to prioritize, what types of surgery you want to get, and there may be, you know, some indecision there based on past struggles. You know, I think of my own experience, some struggles with like body image and dysphoria that I've had throughout my life have both informed and made certain parts of transition difficult. And our next one, the 7 of staves, the 8 of staves, the 8 of wands. Good news, and the news might be overwhelming. There may be many options in a world of opportunity before you when it comes to surgery, and there's many possibilities for excitement, and there's also always the possibilities of, you know, pain and discomfort when it comes to surgery. Good evening, everyone. Hey, Jen. Agreed with the judge card. And then our last card, the 7, I think if we take it very literally, the 7 of wands, tells us again, trust our intuition. That is a very powerful message of the tarot. Trust your intuition. Trust that you have the strength to overcome these obstacles. I think it's about like really going with your gut and kind of solving those past hurts to figure out what you need for your future self to be your fullest self. And just really want to reiterate that you have the strength to do this, even though it's not easy. Hopefully that provides some guidance. And welcome anyone else who has joined. I think I said hi, Jen. If not, you get a second hi. Later, Sam. That can't tell the future. Can you make the question a bit more specific? Asking questions. Was there a particular question that you asked? Wondering what will happen to me in the near future? Because if I do, then it keeps reminding me of my depression. Hey, Vulan. I'm sorry to hear that. I know you've had lots of struggles, Max, and it always makes me happy to see you show up here, even if just for a short while. Hopefully we're able to give you the support you need, or at least some of the support that you need. Well, let's see if I can think. I might be able to frame this into some sort of question. Mostly emotionless and numb. Okay, I think resolving the passwords to move forward is really relevant. I'm glad to hear that, Maya. It's not always easy. But I mean, it's cliche, but I think there's a lot of truth around sayings that, you know, the past will continue to haunt us if we don't unpack it and resolve it. Gameplay adding mine to the pile. Oh, Huzzlefudge gameplay adding. Okay. Are any of the suitors I desire potentially end up being closer to me in my life? Okay, let's see. All right, Max. Let's see how I can. I mean, I guess the most broadest question I can think of that might be helpful is like, you know, what can you do to kind of cope with and manage some of the struggles around emotion? That's kind of what I would see as a potential question here. What can we do to cope? Or what can give us some clarity? Okay. What sorts of questions can be asked? Tarot can't really predict the future. It more provides insight and guidance. So it helps a lot with like making decisions or getting clarity on areas of our life that we're confused about. Sometimes it helps push us towards an action that we may already have in mind, but we're kind of unsure of what decision to make. So, I mean, the questions can be very, very broad or somewhat specific, but really it's just broadly about like, is there anywhere in my life that I want insight or guidance or kind of like help with any sort of struggle? It can be as broad as like, what do I need to focus on? What do I need to energize in my life right now to, you know, what do I need to do to keep this particular relationship in like a good state? It can be anything like that. So it can kind of tell us like, what do we need to do to work towards a particular future, but it won't predict a specific future, if that makes sense. Like, what do I need to do to work towards like my dream career? Could be a card, but it's not going to directly tell us, will I get my dream career? Like it's a subtle nuance, but yeah, because it's more about getting insight and being able to empower yourself to make things happen. And the tarot can help find steps along the way. That's what I meant. I just didn't know how to word the question. So what can we do? I'm trying to think of what kind of spread we could do here. How can we cope with emotions? Okay. We can do just a very broad card, very broad spread of kind of struggle, cause, solution. And it's not necessarily going to be that straightforward, but kind of give us some context in terms of the struggles, give us some context in terms of like what things may be causing it, and based on that we can get some possible solutions or some possible ways to cope. And we start out with the Queen of Wands, and this is for Max. When will there be any major changes in my life? Okay. Well, hopefully I can get to a few more of these. Wait, what was this? Queen of Wands. Okay. Queen of Wands. She looks very, very wise. I think we already had the Queen of Wands today, maybe. Maybe not. Okay. So very concisely, the Queen of Wands relates to creativity, focus, being in touch with your tuition. But kind of putting all that together, like a common way to interpret the Queen of Wands is like, she is very wise, she is powerful, she knows her worth, she, is able to stand strong. The Queen of Wands is telling us, one thing is like stepping into our power. And, if we think about this in terms of the first card being struggles, there's difficulties in being able to kind of step into that place where you can kind of feel strong, feel focused, kind of feel comfortable, feel confident, which might be, very broad and maybe kind of like, well, yeah, or it might be more insightful. We have the Three of Pentacles. These are interesting. They kind of look like sandals with feet and eyes. Distraction, look, squirrel. So the Three of Pentacles. Pentacles relates to the material world again. The Three of Pentacles is about reward, letting your talents shine. Just try to see what there's a lot of possible interpretations and just trying to see what might be most relevant. Three of Pentacles, establishing a lasting enterprise. Okay. Part of this is about reward and success. Okay. So this can be interpreted in several ways. It can be interpreted many ways, but, the Three of Pentacles very literally relates to, kind of receiving success for putting in work into some project or career or something that is very important to you. And it's kind of being able to see the rewards of, putting time and effort into something in the material world. And the Pentacles often can relate to the most basic senses, literally related to money, but we can think of other things. In the material world too, it can be emotions. In the case of this reading, it can be, being able to fulfill ourselves and tap in and put energy into ourselves, working on ourselves. And the outcome and success is being able to kind of, again, step into our power. So we can again see this as, there's a fear of success or a fear of failure. There's a fear of like stepping outside of your comfort zone. And yeah, the solution. It's one card. Oh. Our friend comes back. The Three of Swords. Interesting. So if we remember the Three of Swords, it's about pain, but it's also about clarity. It's kind of about accepting a painful truth. So, it's about, seeds of doubt are being kind of drawn back, and it's time to, it sounds, probably wouldn't quite put it this way, but, time to face reality is the words it uses here. But the positive aspect is that you get more clarity onto whatever it is that's causing you pain and giving you heartache and giving you struggles. So the most literal way I could see that, we put all this together, like how do we, this is for Max, like coping with your emotions, stepping into your power. That kind of gives us the nature of the struggles. So that you may feel unable to step into your power, unable to be confident, feeling too distressed, or maybe fearing that too much distress will come from doing this. And, the cause may be related to, a fear of failure, and that could be in many respects, it could be a fear of letting yourself down, a fear of feeling too overwhelmed, and the Three of Swords tells me maybe not the happiest of outcomes here, but one possible way to approach this is, I think of emotions. All of our emotions serve a purpose, and they can be very overwhelming at times, but our emotions are always trying to tell us something. And I could see that clarity can come from the pain, and that's probably not a great answer. Probably maybe not what you want to hear, Max. But I think, the discomfort and struggles around emotion may be telling you that there is something unfulfilled in your life. Usually, emotional pain may come from we have an unfulfilled need or an unfulfilled want or desire. And, it might be telling us something. The fact that it's, overwhelming to tap into your emotions in the first place. What is that telling us? But hopefully, I don't know if I said hi to you, Ezio. I know you popped up a while ago, but hello. No more questions, Zero. Yeah. Sorry, I'm missing a lot of the chat today. I'm very, very much into these cards. Very much an amateur, but I do enjoy the tarot. The tarot. Well, I'll probably have time for a few more questions. I was planning on wrapping this up a little early, and also wanted to, give some updates on the channel as well. Oh, maybe I can do that now. Well, okay, we got another question. We enjoy listening to you. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Debating if I should move to another country to be with the love of my life. Relationship question. Relationship question. Be with the love of my life. Is this the... Okay. Well, this could be a relationship question or a decision-making question, or it's kind of both. Is it the right decision? Is this the right thing to do? I'm trying to think of what might be best for that. Like I said, a lot of these 3-card spreads are kind of variations on the same kind of format. struggle, cause or barrier, solution kind of type of thing. Okay. Well, we could do... Okay. I mean, moving or not moving, those are kind of probably two of the main solutions here. But, you know, one spread we can do is like a possible solution for the first card, an alternate solution, and the third card can kind of give us some clarity on how you can move towards making that decision. I did not shuffle that. Okay. We're having some of the same cards come up today. And I swear I shuffle it between every single reading. So we have the Three of Cups again. And I already forget what that one means. I think if I remember correctly, that is like celebration. Yes. Celebration, abundance, connection, time for indulgence. There's a flirtatious air about this card. Okay. Feeling of abundance, pleasure, emotional, physical healing, spending time with people who make you feel good raises your vibration and energy levels, positive influences. So, you know, probably not so surprisingly, like this could tell us very literally that our first inclination is moving towards leaving the country to be with the love of your life, because it's tapping into the happiness, the celebrations, the indulgence, being carefree, going with the flow. And of course, there's always a dark side to that. You know, there could be, you know, indulgence that's gone too far. So we have to kind of keep in mind and not be blinded by infatuation, so to speak. When we think of love in a relationship, we want to make sure that we're not only thinking from our emotions, but also thinking from a more practical side of our mind and kind of putting the two of those together to see what answers that can give us. Oh. We have the Seven of Swords. Flirtatious is accurate. Hey, Johnny. Okay. Sorry, I kind of stared off into space there. We have the Seven of Swords. Well, this is not a happy card. A very literal meaning of the Seven of Swords is distrust, dishonesty. We could like very literally see this as being stabbed in the back, and we could even see this as stabbing ourselves in the back, depending on these decisions that we're making. You know, we can see this as a potential transgression, you know, in the context of a relationship. You'll need your instincts and your wits to determine the truth. So, you know, don't want to interpret this as like the love of your life is, you know, not right for you or anything like that. But I can kind of interpret this as like it's important to make sure you're not making decisions too hastily, to make sure that all the intentions that both of you have are, you know, honest and transparent. And again, it's about going with your instincts to discover the truth of the matter. So I kind of see it as using kind of like rational sides to see if this kind of incorporating the rational side of your mind to see if this is what you really want. So if we think of that as a possible decision, you know, we have the more carefree approach and we have the more cautious approach. And how do we figure out what to do? I have a comfortable but boring and miserable life here, and I have a chance at a better life. But it means burning bridges in my old life to get it. Only these decisions couldn't be easier. We have the Two of Cups for our final card. Oh. The Two of Cups. Well, how fortuitous, because the Two of Cups relates to love and relationships. The Two of Cups represents harmony, peace, partnership, love. Signifies deeper commitment in an existing relationship, such as moving in together. There's a great connection. Emotions are freely expressed and reciprocated. You feel whole and content. Okay. Two of Cups represent, if the two represents you, the focus is on feelings and your intuition. Nurture all your relationships and enjoy the love and pleasure they bring. Deeper love is coming and you deserve all that is on offer. So, you know, this tells me, and sounds like from what you've briefly told me, that this person offers a lot of, you know, connection. There's a strong bond here. You feel like you can be yourself with them. You feel very connected on multiple levels with this person. And, you know, I think the decision here is kind of going, again, with your gut, going with what you think will bring happiness and joy. Because we can think of it like life is too short to not do the things that bring us happiness. You know, I think of it from the perspective of like, we need to be taking steps that make our life worth living, and those steps usually aren't easy. But, you know, it's about making sacrifices and weighing the pros and cons to move towards our happiness. So I guess the ultimate thing that can help us potentially help you with the decision is kind of weighing out, you know, what are the benefits of staying? What are the benefits of going? What are the cons of staying? What are the cons of going? And what wins out in the end? And this reading, I think, is leaning towards the relationship, but the decision is not going to be easy. You know, I would also ask, like, if it matters, it's melody. I've never felt connection like it. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I guess I would say ask yourself, would you regret not moving? Would you regret not seizing this opportunity in the relationship? And, you know, but it's good to just make sure that, you know, you're tapped into, you know, your emotions and also thinking practically and combining those and seeing, you know, going with our intuition, but also weighing out the pros and cons. That's kind of how I see it, of like trusting both the emotional and logical sides of our mind and integrating the two to see what answer can come out of it. Because if we're thinking too much from one or the other, it might not. We might be making decisions quicker than we'd like to or more on a whim. But again, you know, just ask yourself, what will bring you the most joy? What will make your life feel more like it's worth living? Because I think that's kind of the overarching goal of what many of us are striving for and aspiring to, is to try to take as many steps as possible to make our life feel more and more like it is worth living. Okay. Hmm. It's wonderful. It makes me so happy to see that the Discord and the YouTube channel are able to bring people together. Yeah, it's another plug for the Discord channel, you know, or for the Patreon. If you join the Patreon, one of the tiers is joining our wonderful, safe and wholesome Discord community, where lots of people have made, you know, great friends, and in the case of a few people, more than friends. Several people have met beyond Jen and Melody. Several other people have met and connected on a deeper level as well. Well, and yes, thank you, Casey. Always having my back. Just want to say I want to send out my love to all my moderators. Casey, Trucy, and Zoe were here today. And Riley and Vanessa are other moderators. I think y'all have done a lot of good work today. I like being in my boring comfort zone, but she makes me want to leave it all behind and start afresh. Well, the way I like to think of comfort zones is, you know, if we stay in our comfort zone too long, we don't grow, we don't thrive. But if we go too far outside of our comfort zone, that can cause us to become overwhelmed and regress. So it's about finding that sweet medium of like, what can I do to push myself enough to grow, but not to the point where I can't handle it. All right. Well, I did want to like say some stuff coming up about the channel, largely that you know, a couple things in terms of scheduling. Need to go to bed. Good night, William. Isolation is the dream killer. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that has never been, and I feel like that has been especially true these past almost 2 years now. I think isolation has taken a whole new meaning. And I think it's also a big, I think one positive that's come out of the pandemic and so many people's lives getting turned upside down is it has allowed us to, or kind of pushed us to reprioritize our lives and really think about what's important and, you know, think about who is important in our lives as well. Okay, but as I was saying, yeah, so I will be taking next week off for Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna be taking most of December and early January off because your Chloe needs a break. And I assume y'all will be understanding and supportive. I feel like y'all always are. But my current plan is to, you know, have some stuff maybe that first week after Thanksgiving, and then it's kind of up in the air after that. But I kind of want some time to just relax and decompress because I'm feeling very burnt out in grad school. And, you know, I kind of just want to take a step back and reprioritize. So, yeah, I mean, my current thoughts is, you know, maybe coming back in January in the new year and kind of wanting to take a new direction with the channel. Part of the reason I'm taking a step back is, you know, I kind of want to see what it is I want to do with the channel moving forward. Because I just feel like some of the content I've put out has just been like, let me just put out content for the sake of content. And I know a lot of it has been helpful and a lot of it has resonated with y'all. But, you know, I want to, you know, find stuff that, you know, feels very meaningful to me on my end as well. So the Tipsy Army marches behind you always. I love that. Thank you, Casey. Yeah. Y'all are always so supportive, and I absolutely love it. Next month. Happy almost birthday, Max. It's maybe we can just have a fun, chill game stream after Thanksgiving, chat, have a fun game. You know, maybe see if we can find a holiday themed game just to be like extra on the nose. But yeah, I'm still kind of thinking in terms of where I want to refocus in terms like videos will still be related to like trans issues. But I'm thinking of taking like more of an intentional direction in terms of like incorporating a lot of the psychology and therapy skills and stuff like that that I've been learning over the past few years, and kind of maybe trying to create videos that are tailored towards like practicing lots of different skills to cope with stress related and tying it into the context of transition. And I feel like there's not many people who do that on YouTube. So I feel like it's a very niche area. And I think maybe it's not exciting and sexy as some of the drama channels, but that's never me. And I'm not gonna do a therapy session, Casey. but kind of just like teaching some skills and seeing like how can we incorporate a lot of different skills into our transition and into our lives. And kind of if y'all want to look into it more, like something that I ascribe to in a lot of the work I do is this thing called dialectical behavior therapy, DBT for short. Some people have probably heard of that. But I kind of see of like there's lots and lots and lots of skills in that theoretical approach, and kind of going through all of those skills and talking about how we can practice the skills and how they can apply specifically to trans people. Chloe is amazing. Oh, thank you. Oh, the DBT. Yes. Yeah, DBT is pretty popular, and I can see why. It's where it's a lot of what I focus on in the work I do. But yeah, that's kind of my first thought. I mean, tonight was pretty much a therapy session for the moderators. Oh, goodness. Okay. That's kind of just what I'm thinking. Coping skills, mechanisms, all sorts of different stuff. Glasses up or down. Oh. I know who you are, Joseph Gutierrez. Oh, God. Like, glasses up or down, is that something that we talk about generally in DBT? And I'm like, no, that's a specific reference. I see you, Joseph. Chloe, my opinion, phenomenal. Thank you. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Kind of just something that can incorporate what I'm learning in some way. I can give it back to you in a way that feels meaningful. And it's also a way that I can practice my own skills and get better at what I'm doing in the process. Everybody wins, hopefully. And yeah, so I'm not going to put a definitive date on when I will return from my break, because I don't want to have myself feel beholden to meeting a specific timeline, because that will stress me out. And I know none of y'all will hold me to a specific timeline, but if I set one, I will hold myself to it and feel stressed out. Yeah, I feel like it's part and parcel for the types of personalities that go into graduate school. But obviously, personal, did your parents support you transitioning? Assume that question is for me. I'd say short answer, yes. It took them some time to kind of get name and pronouns right, but they never cut me out of their life. And they didn't fully understand, and I don't know if they fully understand to this day, but I mean, they see me as Chloe, they know me as Chloe. They know me as their daughter. But I mean, I say like short answer yes, because neither of my parents cut me out of their life at all. And actually, I think I have been closer with my mom since I started my transition way back when. So I think in some ways, like, my mom was almost more supportive. Not that she was ever not, she always was supportive in my life, but I feel like my transition kind of made us connect more, and she was more supportive than she had ever been. You know, other people in my family, not quite the case, but my parents, yes. But yeah. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, if that is something that you partake in. You know, I know there's a lot of complexities, to put it nicely, around Thanksgiving as a tradition in America. And you know, this might not be anything for people who are not in America. But, you know, I like to see it as a time of having an excuse to get to spend time with the people we care about, and eating lots of food. And I say, if you have a say in the matter, and you know that spending time with biological family is just going to bring nothing but heartache, you know, this could be a time to set boundaries where you're very specific on the amount of time you spend with them. Or maybe you don't spend any time with them this year and you need a break, and you instead spend this time with chosen family. You know, family of choice rather than a family by blood. We can't choose our family by blood, for better and for worse. So, you know, I'd say just tap into the people that really care and support you and spend time with them. Hey, Dean, I'm so sorry. I'm about to wrap up, but I'm glad you could pop in. Spending time making a new family. That's awesome. But yes, what Casey said. Hit that like button. I'm more distant from my family. It's another reason I want to move. Yeah. I always thought Thanksgiving was just another Christmas. Christmas 2 Electric Boogaloo. When you're here with your family. What is that? That's that's a saying for a restaurant, right? Yeah, some cheesy chain restaurant. Is that Olive Garden? Good. Wait, wrapping up. Did I miss the tarot? Yeah. Yeah. You did, Joseph Gutierrez. I mean, we can do how about this? We'll close out with one last tarot reading. And we can do a nice broad reading of, you know, what is it that we can energize? What is it that we can add into our lives? What is it that we can focus on over the next week? Because Thanksgiving can be an exciting and also a stressful time for many people, sometimes more on the stressful side. So what can we focus on to help take care of ourselves? And you know, we could do, I was gonna do one card spread, but you know, we could yeah, we could do a 3-card spread, like a mind, body, spirit spread. What can we do to nurture our mind? What can we do to nurture our body? What can we do to nurture our spirit? Oh, so mind, body, spirit. Sometimes I wonder if I don't shuffle this deck well. But the tarot deals what it deals. So what can we do to focus on our mind, body, and spirit? Good one. What to focus during the holiday season. So let's keep these things in mind as we move forward. We have the 9 of Swords. We got this little guy is looking kind of sad with lots of swords above them. And that is very close to the way the traditional 9 of Swords looks. And this card is about anxiety. Sometimes in this book they call it the 3 a.m. card because it describes you waking up in the wee hours of the night, unable to sleep due to worry and stress. And so this can tell us that, you know, we might be feeling overwhelmed. I feel like that's appropriate. Anxiety relates to our mind. Hey, Kenzie. So what can we do to nurture our mind? I could see this as, we all have our anxieties and our worries, but when we're thinking about like the holidays, what are things that contribute to our anxiety that we can try to cut back on or cut out of our lives? And, I'm thinking of that even in terms of relationships with people. Who can we spend less time around so we can take care of ourselves and reduce our anxiety? Because, I want to put a positive spin on that. We have the 7. No, I can count the 8. I went to the right page in my book. We have the 8. The 8 of Swords. 4 a.m. here. The 8 of Swords. This card shows you feeling trapped. Why did I get sad cards for our last reading? You maybe feel anxious. Okay. You may feel trapped. Mind, body, spirit. So what do we think of this in the context of our body, our physical form? The 8 of Swords relates to feeling trapped, feeling constricted or restricted. So this tells me, take some time, especially if you're setting boundaries in areas of your life, to take some of that stress away, some of that anxiety away. Use that time that you've now given yourself to find the things that allow you to feel free, that allow you to feel alive, that invigorate you. Because you may be feeling trapped, but if you're cutting things out of your life, what are the things that really make you feel free and alive? Give at least one of those things into your life over the next few weeks, over the rest of the year. What's one thing you can give to yourself? One thing that you really enjoy doing? Maybe one thing that you haven't been allowing yourself to enjoy. Be intentional about making the time for that. Trapped in your body. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't gonna go there. But, yep, you're right. You're right, you're absolutely right. So our final card of the evening. Spirit. The King of Pentacles. Can we focus, camera? Can we focus? So, we're ending on a high note. The King of Pentacles. Somebody who has a plan, who's worked hard, who is rewarded for it, making the most of your assets. So what do you need to nurture your spirit? I'm seeing this as make the most of the relationships in your life that matter, and you will feel rewarded in turn. I usually interpret the Pentacles, unless we're literally talking about money, I usually interpret it in terms of like physical connection to other people in our lives, which may not be the most correct interpretation. But set boundaries to reduce your anxiety, find things that help you feel alive and freed, and, nurture your relationships. Because, the relationships that are very important to you, that are very fulfilling, it's usually reciprocal. What you put in is what you get out. So it's kind of like you put your time and effort into these relationships, you will be rewarded in turn. Aw, thanks, Adine. Things and people that mean most to you, absolutely. And if you channel the King of Pentacles is a pro at doing this. So, just, here's the traditional one. And I always replace the terminology with like gender neutral pronouns, because a lot of the stuff in traditional tarot decks is very gendered. So, this can apply to anyone regardless. Boundaries do be healthy. You're absolutely right. They do be hard too. But a lot of the hard things, a lot of the things that are worth it in our lives don't come by easy, because we have to usually work for feeling fulfilled and accomplished and complete. Well, it's nice not needing to count F-bombs. That's funny. Yeah, I don't even think I had one today. Yeah, we had a much calmer stream today. But all right, everyone, go ahead and wrap up for today's stream. Thank you so much, as always, for spending your Thursday evening, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, whatever time it may be, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for spending this time with me, even if it was, only a few minutes, or it was the entire almost 2 hours, whatever you're able to step in for means a lot to me. It means a lot to me that y'all willingly and want to spend, your Thursdays with me. So yeah, thank you. And I will see y'all in a couple weeks. And, I'll be thinking about, where do I want this channel to go? Don't worry. Think of this as a break between seasons on a TV show. Taking a mid-season break for the holidays. Yes. And I love how Casey always wishes us, safety and love and connection. On your way out, hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. I gotta put in the stuff for the YouTube algorithm. Check out the description below to see, a link to my Patreon, a link to my small but growing ASMR channel, which I'll also be taking a break from that, but that will also be returning in 2022. But yes. All right, everyone. I'll see you soon. And Tipsy also sends her love. Tipsy. There you are. Did I startle you? Yeah. We gotta have Tipsy in the stream for at least a minute. Okay. I love you all. And I'll see you soon. Stay safe. Love each other. Take care of each other. Surround yourself with the people and things that help you feel nurtured. Bye for now.